hand it
uncomfortable situation.
I hand it
Now,
over to you guys. You can introduce yourself, both you and Maria, and maybe you can start diving into the presentation. We're looking forward to hearing all about it. And guys, you can write your comments, questions in the chat, or if you, it's an interactive session, you can unmute and ask your questions anytime. So just like, yeah, I will be reading and replying. So yeah, go ahead, Katya.
amazing. This is so interactive. I feel a little bit uncomfortable first because it's like my second time in the metaverse, but I find it so cool already. So I just wanted to briefly introduce myself, and I'm here. My name is Katya, and I'm here with MicrobiomeDAO team. So Maria and Robin are here as well too. So they're gonna go and introduce themselves after. A little bit about myself. So I'm the co-initiator of MicrobiomeDAO, and I think that the most powerful intelligence system on the
Maybe
planet
closer.
isn't
It looks more
artificial, it's
grounded, you know? You
biological,
always
and
go
we're
live
just yet
even when it
to
doesn't look
begun to unlock it. So Microbiome DAO is here to change the way that we see our data, the microbiome data, how we approach our health, and what it actually is, the microbiome. I think that we should start with saying that every second, trillions of microbes in your body are processing data, a lot of data, and it shapes your metabolism, immune system, and even your mood, which is great. So
because you're
the
small.
problem is the data is locked away and it's untracked or it's underutilized. So in many cases, the data is owned by corporations instead of the people it belongs to. So here we as Microbiome DAO coming into the space to change that. We want to decentralize microbiome research. We want to put data back in the hands of individuals, and we want to collect and turn the biological intelligence into breakthroughs that would actually benefit the humans and not just the pharma bottom line. And yeah, I'm going to hand it over to Maria, and she will give a more deeper understanding and introduction to microbiome. She's our scientific lead, and I am excited to hear more what she has to say. And the presentation will follow, so like we can kind of start with just saying a few things about microbiome, and then we can proceed with the presentation if that's fine.
Thank you, Katya. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me well, because I couldn't hear Katya very well. She was breaking a lot for me, and I don't know if it's a problem on my side or the connection. Can you confirm
Yeah,
that
we hear you
I am?
very well, but Katya was also on, getting interrupted for us as well. So I think it's probably from Katya's
Mike.
mic. But you, we hear you, Maria, very good. So
Very
please,
clearly.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that's nice. Then Katya, you can try later and we make sure that we can hear you well as well. So thank you for the quick intro. Indeed, I am Dr. Maria Corlianò. I am the science lead at Microbiome DAO. I have a PhD in the microbiome science from the National University of Singapore. Actually, I have to say that this metaverse really reminds me to the Singaporean beach where we used to party when there were some concerts or events. So it's so cool. It's very beautiful. So after my PhD in Singapore, I started biotech in the microbiome sequencing space. So we were doing gut microbiome sequencing for the population in Singapore. And this went on for about 3 years. Since then, the pipeline were passed under some partners, and I came back to Europe, where I decided to invest more time into the intersection between the microbiome and the longevity field, which are really close to each other, and I can explain a little bit more about it later. So I entered the DeSci space through VitaDAO, which is one of the biggest BioDAO looking at the longevity research. And I also maintain, let's say, a Web2 job where I am currently the head scientific analyst at the Longevity Science Foundation, which is one of the biggest non-profit organizations in the longevity field. So this allows me to be always up to date to the latest scientific research and innovation in the field of longevity, where I really think the microbiome fits perfectly. So I joined MicrobiomeDAO as a science lead because I truly believe in this project, and the reason is that I truly believe in the power of the microbiome. I give you this little introduction about myself because I want you guys to know my background. So I hope that you're going to believe what I'm about to say when I talk about the gut microbiome, because it's really grounded into the science of it, since I have done my PhD and then also a biotech around it, and now MicrobiomeDAO. So we are known as humans, but actually we co-live with trillions of bacteria that and other microbes, also viruses, archaea, fungi, that live inside us and also within us. So, for example, on our skin, in our mouth, in our gut, obviously, and like in a lot of other different places within our body. And why there are many theories on why we co-live with this organism, and now we finally know that this is happening because obviously we are a house for them, so they can live within us because they wouldn't be able to live outside, but they also help us to thrive, not only to survive, but also to thrive. So they basically are part of all our main metabolic functions because they are active, they take active part into all our metabolism. So we have discovered so far that possibly every organ in our body has a connection with the gut, which means that the bacteria that are in our intestine, they communicate with all the rest of our body. And I really mean it, that they communicate with the brain, with the muscles, with the lung, with the kidney, any other organs you can think of. Why the gut? The gut is because so far it has been recognized as the environment where the majority of bacteria live within our body. So that's why there's been so much research and interest into the gut microbiome. And how can we analyze the gut microbiome is by sampling stool from humans. So we just get a little scoop of the stool that are produced daily by each of us. And then this tool can be sequenced exactly like we sequence the DNA of a human, we sequence the DNA of the bacteria, and then we can analyze what kind of microbes live within the human body. And why this is important? Because obviously each of these bacteria have a different role into human health. For example, I'm sure you guys heard about Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, Akkermansia, all of these very famous name of beneficial bacteria that can bring some benefit to the health of the humans, as well as E. coli or Clostridium difficile, which are pathogens, so are bacteria that instead can unfortunately affect our health negatively. So it's very important to understand what's the current state of the microbiome within each of us before moving on into intervention. I always say that if you're looking into starting probiotic, for example, for your wellness and your health, you should always first check what your microbiome look like and make sure that whatever you're going to introduce in your gut, it's beneficial and is going to co-work alongside with all the other bacteria and microbes that are present there to make your health better. So there will be a lot to unpack there. Maybe I stop here if anyone has any question, but the core point is that why MicrobiomeDAO? It's because, as Katya mentioned before, microbiome science is very fragmented because there are a lot of research groups, laboratories, biotech looking into this. But the way we analyze the microbiome is very different among all these stakeholders. So what happens is that there is not a unified way to look at microbiome data. And because of this, we cannot make proper advancement in the field of microbiome, such as personalized intervention for probiotic, for example, or personalized diet recommendation, and so on. So MicrobiomeDAO is really trying to cut through this barrier, create like a more standardized way and decentralized way to collect microbiome data. On top of this data, a lot of research can then be run by academic, by biotech, in a way that will benefit most of us, so I hope all of us. I'll stop it there. Please ask any question if you want me to elaborate a little bit more in any specific part of what I've said so far. I'm reading some comments in the meantime.
If you guys have any questions, just unmute or write your questions in the chat.
A great intro. I think we can wait for some questions and maybe go on with the presentation.
Yeah,
So we already covered a few slides, talked about the invisible ecosystem inside of us and how much of the diversity and actually the amount of our gut microbiome genes are so huge compared to our human genes. If we go to the slide before that is what I'm referring to right now. So there's an entire library of health solutions within you, and we are on the kind of path to uncover it all. So there has been a lot of studies and recently that indicate there is a loss of microbial diversity in humans. So the diversity equals resilience, and less diversity means less resilience, so less health protection. And we believe that this has to change. We're currently exploring projects within this field aiming to recover our microbial diversity for us to live a healthier lifestyles of the sort of kind of lifestyles and diets that we used to have before industrialization. So the next slide talks a little bit about the gut microbiome and how it is the OG influencer in our health. And this is what Maria already talked a lot about. Everything inside of us is interconnected, and gut microbiome plays such a crucial role in uncovering those links with immune system, with brain, with our reproductive health, anything that we can imagine. There is so little that we yet we understand at this point of time, and I believe that there's so much to uncover. So the next slide is about the modern living. As I said, there's just a lot of changes that have happened over the last hundreds of years, especially with industrialization, that has left us with, poor health and relying on drugs and supplements to fill this gap. We've become more vulnerable. We've lost the microbial diversity, and this is something that I think we should address immediately. So the next slide. Oh, is my sound okay? Sorry, I'm just checking the messages in the chat.
Yeah, it's much better.
Oh, it's much okay.
Yeah,
Great, better.
better.
Yeah, I feel like when I connected on my laptop, it started breaking. Like my laptop started becoming like so hot, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I joined with my phone with the app, and it's so much better.
Yeah, no.
So
it's better,
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's good with the app. Keep going.
Okay, great, awesome. So I'll continue then. So we think that microbiome industry is kind of broken. There are unregulated DTC tests, shady probiotics on the market that don't work, but being marketed so hard that people believe that they can actually fill the gap and help them with one or another condition, which I'm not sure that that's always the case. There are corporate data silos, and there's lack of data diversity. So we at MicrobiomeDAO, we aim to address all those issues. And for that, we need a global inclusive approach to microbiome research. So here's kind of the intro of microbiome space, of the science and what we're trying to do. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Maria is also here, that you can rely and trust her. She's amazing, and I'm not a scientist myself, so please address all those like deep questions to her. Otherwise, I'll go on with talking a little bit more about the DAO itself and how we are approaching those issues that I have just described with the power of decentralized science.
Thank you, Katya, and thank you, Maria. So if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
I want to know about selection of probiotics. How do you figure out what works for you? And there's so many different people that say different things. So I would like to know how do you recommend going about choosing the right probiotic for you, for each individual?
That's a very good question. Thanks for asking. So the idea here is that I heard doctors saying that probiotics are basically similar as antibiotics in a way. And what that means is that you don't want to introduce something in your body that is not actually needed or required. So my advice to everyone who wants to start a probiotic supplementation is, first of all, you need to look at what kind of problem you want to solve, because so far there is no science proving that probiotic, even generic probiotic, can benefit health in healthy individuals. So probiotic work if you have a specific concern that you want to address. So first of all, identify which one is. There is a lot. It's not only related to the gut, right? As I was mentioned, there are a lot of gut axis. So even, for example, people that are feeling low in energy, depressed, mood swings, or for example, you are having even now there is this research in the space of cholesterol. For example, if you experience high cholesterol, you could potentially use probiotic to manage these affected symptoms. So identify what the issue is. It could be gut dysfunction, it could be brain dysfunction, and then I recommend looking in the literature, which I know is not something that it's very easy to do, but the clinical trials out there, as of far, is the only source of truth that we have. So we should look into what kind of clinical trials were run for this specific condition and what probiotic strain was used, and then look to that for the specific probiotic and start taking according to what the guidelines of the clinical trial recommends.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. And I would like to ask also about the diet and its impact on the microbiome, and especially that nowadays I feel like we're used to eat almost the same thing. It's not like as before we only eat the veggies and the food that's available per season, since now everything is available all the time. So I think sometimes we stick to our habit. So how does our habit of eating influence our microbiome?
There's another very interesting question, and I think Katya quickly touched on that, which unfortunately with the industrialization of the world, we have now kind of moved towards a more sterile environment, and therefore we are losing microbiome diversity. So there's a fact. It has been proven in several studies that the new generation, a new population, they have less diversity compared to, so how do they do the study? They basically compare to those tribes that still live as we used to live before industrialization. The most used one is the Amsta in Africa. So what happens is that they see that these people, that they still live with seasonal fruits, and especially fruits and veggies that come from the dirt and not from the supermarket, they have a much higher microbiome diversity compared to us. And unfortunately, there is bad for us, because the more diverse microbiome we have, the more activity it can do for us, right? Because as I mentioned before, the bacteria, the microbes, they cooperate with us to help us thrive. So if we have less variety, it means that less function can be covered. And that's why, together with the industrialization and the decrease of the diversity, we're also seeing an increase in chronic and autoinflammatory disorders in the new generations.
Yeah, very interesting. But now also you mentioned about the dirt, And I think here in the West, we're like obsessed by having everything cleaned. Maybe we shouldn't clean as much, or like now also, but we need to clean because of the all the chemical that we put on our veggies. So it's sometimes I feel we are a bit stuck here to find a good solution to go around it.
Great point. That's a great point. The COVID actually had a great effect on all of us because everyone went, we all kind of freak out about entering in contact with other people and germs and viruses. So we had to go through a very specific hygiene protocol. I remember coming back from groceries and had to clean everything with disinfectant before putting it back in my house. And obviously that affected as well our microbiome and the way we diversify. So this is absolutely a good point. It's like now, is it better to ingest all the pesticides, let's say, that comes from the fruits and vegetables that are grown in non-natural environment, or is better to keep that and try to also include the microbiome on top of it? So the idea obviously is that we don't want the pesticides to be in our body. I would definitely recommend to always, unfortunately, because the environment we live, clean your food properly before eating it, fruits and veggies, but try to diversify the kind of food you're eating. And if you have local markets close to you that they sell organic products, definitely go for that. I have some here in Lisbon. I'm very lucky to be able to rely on them. And if you guys have any of them around, try. I know they might be a little bit more expensive or more tricky compared to go to the supermarket every week, but your body will thank you for this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's better to eat locals and bio, for sure. And for the supplements, I'm not sure. Maybe you mentioned it already, but when we're taking these supplement pills, and maybe we to compensate for maybe the food that is not having the right nutrients and stuff. How does that impact our microbiome? And is it like is the body like able to absorb it as good as like it comes from food, or like what do you think about like supplementing in general?
I think so far the only supplement that really improves the microbiome composition and the outcome that I have seen in clinical study and also practice is the Psyllium Husk. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's basically pure fibers. It comes in big bags as like a grounded fiber that you can add in your yogurt. I try to use it. I try to use it in my diet daily, and it's a good way to increase the amount of fiber that you can introduce to improve your gut microbiome. Since we are going through this less unfortunately diversified diet, so that would be the only supplement I would really recommend. And rather than that, I would suggest explore the fermented food, which is also an amazing option to introduce some beneficial bacteria in your gut without giving a targeted probiotic that we don't really know what it's going to do. Because of course the fermented food is going to grow different species and strain inside, and there are a lot of options there that you can try. Even yogurt is fermenting in its own right. And there is kefir, kimchi, kombucha, a lot of different options. Don't take it as a medical advice or like something that can cure your gut, but and also there is not such a thing like one size fits all. Is more of a try what works for you, and maybe try again introducing these more natural compounds and see how it works for your body, and then adjust based on maybe how you're feeling, or even if you have some wearables that can track for example, you can see like how is your body reacting in terms of sleep, stress, physical performance to a specific combination of prebiotic or probiotic supplements, and then you adjust based on that. That's the most efficient way to create your own protocol.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. But the problem is, like for us people with EDS and mast cell activation syndrome, all the things with bacteria also contain histamines, and histamine not really good for us. So sometimes we get like in a struggle how to find a good solution or like a good compromise between those two things. We need to increase our gut health, but we don't want to increase our symptoms or other things.
Exactly.
So that's why we try sometimes to have like a supplement instead of eating the fermented food, and we try also to find some strain that suitable for different conditions, which is very complicated to understand, to be honest, for us.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk a little bit about like people who have these chronic illnesses and maybe cannot have this highly processed or like this kind of fermented food because of histamine intolerance or like even lactose intolerance in some cases, because probiotics, a lot of them have lactose in them as well. Maybe this is a niche and a very niche question, so I do understand if you don't know a lot about it, but I would be curious to hear your opinion about it, like if you know of any alternatives, or also what you think about like people who do supplement with these pills in active form so that the body can absorb it without the consequences of having allergy symptoms.
It seems they got offline.
Maria?
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it's for me. I'm not expert in EDS, so I will actually let one of you take this question and explain a little bit to the audience what it is and how it affects the whole body potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, like in general, for people who cannot maybe take fermented food, or like
Connie is saying she knows some who has non-histamine options.
Okay.
So Connie, would you like to share with us here?
Yeah, maybe you can unmute Connie and you can tell us what
your experience.
Oh, maybe she cannot unmute.
Maybe Connie cannot speak now.
After. She would like to do it after. Okay. I'll reach out. But yeah, Maria, in general, I mean, I just want to hear, like, do you not believe so much in the pill form of supplementation? And how do they affect the microbiome? Just because, like, in some cases, we need to find alternatives for people who have chronic conditions.
Exactly. So, I absolutely understand what you guys are talking about, and I think this is the perfect example of what I was saying before. That the approach here would be to identify if there is any clinical study done on ADS patients taking any probiotic, if it improves, and then starting from there. I am actually not 100% sure this has been done. Maybe you know more than me, but possibly if we are talking about fermented food, maybe is not ideal because of the lactose. There are fermented food that don't have. So if the problem is the lactose intolerance or levels in the fermented food.
Also histamine.
Please go ahead.
Also histamine is a problem because it's we already have like high histamine, and food has histamine as well. So fermented food has like the highest levels of histamine, so it might cause also histamine allergy symptoms. So because the more the food like stays out, or the more it's processed or fermented, the more histamine it contains. So
yeah, I think maybe it's an easier way to formulate the question.
Yeah.
For people with chronic illness who already have very strict diet, they cannot expand out of it.
Yeah.
So what can they do to improve their gut health, since it's impact other, not only the gut but overall well-being? I think that's a very interesting question to work. I think nobody knows the answer for now, but I think maybe this is a good question to collaborate with MicrobiomeDAO and try to find a question in the future for us.
Exactly.
Exactly, that would be a very great project indeed, like trying to understand what these people can do. I would say, obviously, and I guess you guys already do that, it's like trying to focus on the food fruits and veggies that has the least histamine concentration. Diversify as much as possible on that food, possibly. I'm not sure about like fiber itself as a supplement, if that could help. But it would be cool to see how we can help the microbiome in this specific condition and chronic disorder.
Perfect. Yeah, also actually streaming the event on LinkedIn. So hi everyone from LinkedIn. I got a question here for Maria from Diraj. I hope I said your name right. Is there a relation on psychostressors and biome? That's the question.
Absolutely, yes. So the connection between the brain and the gut microbiome, it's very, very strong. Now, did I understood correctly? The question is about psychostressor.
The relation, yeah, exactly, on psychostressor and biome.
Okay, yes, absolutely. Because so the way the microbiome and the brain talk to each other, it's dual. So there is both a direct connection between the gut and the brain, which is a nerve that goes from the gut to the brain and is called the vagus nerve. But also the gut microbiome produce molecules that can reach and pass the blood-brain barrier to affect the way in our brain works. So anything that is related, and also it's this vice versa, right? So whatever the brain is, whatever is affecting our brain, that could be, for example, stress, psychostress factor, it will automatically also affect the gut microbiome. So in a way, there are different approaches on how someone can help with the symptom, for example, associated to a more gut-brain axis problem. For example, even IBS itself is now considered a condition that doesn't come only from the gut, but it comes from the brain too. And one of the best practice, besides trying the FODMAP diet, for example, a different diet that could help, it's actually the meditation and some tools specifically made to help release the stress in the brain in order to release the stress in the gut. I hope that answered the question, but let me know if it was more specific.
Yeah, no, I think, Diraj, if you want, he says, thank you. We have researched this along. It's showing results, long way to go. So he's also has researched this with DTX and it's showing results. So yeah, thank you, Diraj. If you have any questions, please write on LinkedIn. But I think it's a very good answer because there's also a lot that you could do for the vagus nerve. There are exercises actually to activate the vagus nerve directly with breathing exercises and even eye movement exercises and just like moving meditations and stuff like that. That I actually have a vagus nerve activation class on YouTube. So if you guys go to ParaMotion EDS YouTube channel, you can go there and do the exercise. I think it's 10 minutes or something, and you really feel, a lot of people feel a lot of relaxation afterwards, and you do feel that like the digestion improves with time the more you do it. Because like Maria was talking about, there's a huge connection between the brain and the guts, and the vagus nerve is definitely something that is connected to also to our parasympathetic nervous system. So when we are in more parasympathetic nervous system, we're able to digest better, and that will help as well the microbiome. So any more questions? Otherwise, I think we can move to the next session with ParaMotion. Do you guys have any final words, Katya or Maria, before?
You still have more things to say about?
Do you have more things to say?
To present?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few things about the brain connection. So Kiko in the comments in the chat mentioned that there's 90% of the body's serotonin is produced in the gut, which is pretty insane. And I think we should also know that certain gut bacteria produce like those essential neurotransmitters such as serotonin, such as dopamine, and those affect our motivation, our reward system, and how the autonomic nervous system. And this is what I've learned recently is commonly dysregulated in EDS, with people with EDS. It's quite interesting to see how much the gut affects the brain and how it's all interconnected. Just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Katya. Yeah, it's fascinating. Like the more you look into the body, the more you see that everything is really truly connected. We tend to like modern medicine tends to look at the body as segments, but like now we're learning to go back into traditional medicine or more like alternative ways of looking at functional medicine, that where like you actually look at the body as a whole, because everything is interconnected, and now we are understanding this interconnectedness much more. And I think we need more research on this. So I think you guys in the DAO as well, you will have more research, of course, on the microbiome and its connection to the body. So this is very important work. It impacts everyone. I'm super happy we managed to do this event together. If you have any final remarks before we move on to the next session, or if anybody has any questions, just let us know. I'll leave a couple of seconds before we move on.
And maybe I just also mentioned that at the Microbiome DAO, they're not only interested in the microbiome in the guts, because the microbiome exists in so many other forms as well, and not only in the gut, also on our skin, in the skull, and also in the soil, and everywhere in life. So I would like to ask you. Sorry, continue.
I think it's a very good point, and we at MicrobiomeDAO are saying that we are microbiome agnostic, so first focusing more on our health, on our bodies, on the gut health, but then really taking the whole kind of ecosystem of microbiome that starts from the soil and the food being produced there, and how much of the nutrient content the food has that will then eventually appear in our gut, and how we gonna metabolize it. So I think it's really important to understand that everything is interconnected, our health and the health of our planet, and microbiome is just such a crucial part of it all. So we're really excited to take on this journey and explore how we can make our planet and ourselves healthier and happier.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Katya, and thank you so very much, Dr. Maria, for your input.
Yeah.
And now we will continue with Ines. Now we're going to talk more about the link between gut health and EDS.
Yeah, perfect. Like what microbiome already talked about. So we already understand why it's important, that it's everywhere in the body, and the connection to like the brain, the connection to our mental health, physical health. So we understand a lot already. And then in this session, we want to talk about, like, for us who have chronic conditions. For example, we got like ADHD, autism, ADS, a mast cell activation syndrome, or POTS, and what does that mean for us in our microbiome and our gut health. Because 84% of people with EDS deal with chronic digestive problems like nausea, bloating, unpredictable bowel movement. And all of this, like, we talked a little bit about those things in our previous sessions, so now I'm not gonna go deeply into it, but please, if you don't know if it's your first time here, you don't know much about EDS and those things, do check out our previous sessions. They're all available on YouTube. But in any case, like, the main issue in all of these conditions that is common is that we have collagen dysfunction. So the structured protein that holds our connective tissue together, including in the guts. So connective tissue is everywhere, and some of it is in the guts. And since the collagen is faulty, the gut cannot function properly, and this leads to a lot of challenges. So we have like what's the gut microbiome made of? Like, we have bacteria, viruses, and fungi that living also in our intestines, and they help regulate digestion, immunity, and even mood. But for us, since we have this connective tissue disorder, the microbiome is imbalanced, and this imbalance in the microbiome is usually called dysbiosis.
just as if you want the fancy word for it. And it will worsen obviously the symptoms. So it's like a chicken and egg, you know, like you have these conditions, so you have worse microbiome and you have worse GI symptoms, and that will lead to worse symptoms of EDS as well, and more inflammation and more nerve sensitivity and poor gut motility. So it will kind of like backfire from both sides. And especially also if you have the mast cell activation syndrome in that case and the POTS, you might also struggle with something called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. A lot of people, even with ADHD and neurodivergence, they do experience like chronic SIBO. So like even they do get the treatment, maybe antibiotics, maybe they follow the food map diet that Maria was talking about, and then after a while they improve, and then they go back, you know, and have it again. So there's this kind of like chronic kind of type of SIBO as well that we can see in these conditions. And how does it really disrupt the gut? How does it represent itself? Well, we have, because of our connective tissue and collagen disorder, we have this kind of tough to contract, so the food is slowly coming out of the stomach rather than like it's taking too long to come out of the stomach, and this all will lead to kind of the food getting fermented inside of the stomach, and that obviously will lead to symptoms, and it can cause constipation or speed it up like diarrhea. So it's either too slow or too fast, and that causes obviously a lot of issues. And we have gut nerve sensitivity. A lot of people experience overactive gut nerves as well. So we feel too much when we're digesting. We have too much over communication there. And then we have a very common, this one for us is leaky gut and inflammation, because the gut lining is also made from collagen, and the collagen is defected. So we have a lot of chemicals and stuff that are coming in and out of this lining, so it's not conserving it properly inside, and that obviously will lead to toxins and bacteria entering the bloodstream, and that will lead to even more and further inflammation, which is not something we want, unfortunately. And obviously also with the MCAS, we have it's linked to dysbiosis as well, because of the mast cells, which are immune cells, they are releasing a lot of histamine, and that's like it creates an allergic reaction, and then also you have an imbalance of good bad bacteria, and then you have worse symptoms of bloating and pain. So all of these symptoms become worse because of increased histamine release, and it leads to food sensitivities and digestive stress. If you guys want to say anything, please stop me anytime. Just unmute and just say what you want. Otherwise, I'll have an eye on the chat.
Yeah, unfortunately we cannot share the link for the blog here, because we cannot share links in Spatial, but we will post this blog, and it exists on our website. If you go to ParaMotion.org and blogs, and you can find it. This is the most recent blog.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
And we will share also with everybody the link for the Discord of MicrobiomeDAO, to join the community and continue the discussion there.
Perfect. Yes, we will do that. Yeah. So yeah, we talked a bit about the symptoms. We have nausea, vomiting, bloating, and reflux, constipation, diarrhea. All of this is also linked to IBS, which is a lot of people who have these conditions have IBS as well. We have food sensitivity, histamine intolerance, malabsorption, and nutrient deficiencies. So even sometimes when we do have the right diet and we're doing everything right, we still, because of our tissue disorder, we cannot absorb the nutrients properly, and that would make us deficient in them. So maybe we do need to supplement in these cases as well. When we talk about how to support the gut, we already talked a little bit about that with microbiome. So we need to, fermented food, or like what Maria was talking about. But in our case, like we also said, we need to be careful with lactose and find alternatives that maybe don't trigger histamine release and don't trigger our allergy symptoms. So we need to be a little bit cautious about those things, more than the typical person who can digest well already those fermented foods. When it comes to gut motility, we need to be hydrated. We need to maybe take a bit more fiber, and also electrolyte is very good. So like that you have put a little bit of electrolyte in your water, and that would help as well with the gut motility. And then to reduce gut inflammation, we need to limit processed food, and we need to manage histamine in some cases. For example, aged cheese or processed meat might contain a lot of histamine, so we need to be careful with that. And we can also supplement with L-glutamine and quercetin, which are usually helpful for the repair of the gut lining as well. So and it stabilizes the cell. So in that case, also it's very helpful. And obviously, like also Maria talked about towards the end, is that you need to manage your stress, and that way you can also improve your symptoms. Gentle movement, vagus nerve stimulation, all of this we do at ParaMotion, and it's all personalized for neurodivergence and EDS, and all of these things already taken into account. You can find already classes on our website and on our YouTube channel. So yeah, please do look for help in case you are suffering for those symptoms. There's a lot that you maybe find, contradictory information and stuff like that. So please do seek help, and maybe more serious help when you're struggling with more severe symptoms. But like we talked about, Maya talked a little bit about, like, we need to, even with MicrobiomeDAO, we're happy to collaborate in the future, maybe start building studies on how the gut bacteria can influence the connective tissue health, and also whether targeted probiotics could improve symptoms, and how the role of serotonin, like Katia was also mentioning, in EDS related motility disorders, and also new treatments, obviously, for MCAS and SIBO in EDS patients, because SIBO is a chronic condition. So how can we really treat it when it keeps coming back in our case? So yeah, thank you guys for this. That was the connection with the EDS. If I will open the floor, maybe Maya wants to say something, or anyone has a question before we go and play the game.
Oh, sorry.
It's 4 p.m.
Sorry about this.
It's 4 p.m. Okay. So anybody has any questions? Let me check. Nothing here. All right. So I guess that's a no.
I just feel
Maya wants
that-
to say something.
yeah, what was really interesting for me is just like to know that I'm not the only one, and it's like 84% of people with EDS struggle with GI symptoms. That was really, when I saw this statistic, I was really amazed that so you're not alone. This is the most common thing for all of us, and it, as we said, like it really depends on many factors, and especially people with the chronic illness. They're mostly stressed, and we don't feel good because our body doesn't feel good, and sometimes also we're gaslighted by the medical community, and we're not believed, and we internalize a lot of those things, and that all those things impact our gut health and the way that we absorb nutrients, which makes everything goes even worse. So the first thing, I think, regardless if we can find the right solution for our gut microbiome and everything, I think the first thing, especially for me, I needed to calm my nervous system and decrease my stress, so I can think better, I can find solution better, and I can do this trial and error in much better way. Because when you're very stressed, sometimes you have like solution in front of you and you cannot see them, and your whole body will feel better once you can be in this rest and digest state. So sometimes we underestimate the simplest thing that we can do. That's why I really highly recommend you to try to focus on this as a first step, and all the other work will follow.
Perfect. Yeah, well said. Yeah, thank you everyone. I think now we're ready for the fun part. So we're gonna play a game that Lisbeth will guide us through, and then I will have some music on, and we're just gonna be dancing. So if you do want to ask me questions privately, you can visit, you can write me personally on LinkedIn or on X. If you want to check out our website, you can go here. You can go from home. You can book a free consultation with
Okay,
me.
I'm going to move us.
10 minutes consultation with me. You can book it right away here. And then if you want to go to the blog, you can go to blogs here. You can find a lot of information for free. So yeah, super happy that you guys came. Let's go, Lisbeth.
Our meta coach is confirming that he agrees that stress can definitely affect your decision-making process, 100%. Okay, Lisbeth.
Okay. So we're going to play a game. The rules are here in English and in Chinese. So you can move over here to see the rules. We're going to have a race around this track. Let me just quickly type first. Okay, so we're going to race around the track. Those of you wearing either zebra heads or Para the zebra are going to be the zebras. And when you race around the track, as we found out last week, often people with EDS struggle with, there I moved, I jumped, sorry, give me a second. Often people with EDS struggle with digestive issues, and also they have difficulty with exercise, so exercise intolerance, for example. We're going to race. You have to go 5 times around the track. So please just keep track of your own. It's not like a formal race. It's more to develop an understanding of what it might feel like for people who struggle with digestive issues and who need help to improve their microbiome, basically. So we can all stand here behind the starting line. And the trick is, if you're a zebra, so you're wearing the zebra hat or the zebra avatar, you have to stop at each toilet along the way. You may not click to teleport, so you either have to walk or run, okay? And you can't click to teleport forward. Ines, can I ask you just to go back to the front to delete the Alice motion ball so that the run speed is controlled by the toilet and not by the ball? Because if I move now, you guys won't be able to hear me. So you can just delete that ball and then I'll put it back after.
Which ball?
Okay, so you can walk and you can run.
Which ball?
But you may not teleport, so no click teleport. So we will start here. I will count to 3 and I will say on your marks, get set, go. Move it, go. And 5 times, 5 times around the track. The ball is at the main, where the zebra heads are.
Oh, okay, so I have to
So it's the ball that has all the code for the dance moves and everything in it. Yes, so we'll wait for Ines to come back. Does everyone understand the rules of the game?
But you guys can start without me, it's okay.
Okay, so basically we go 5 times around, no click to teleport, and if you are a zebra, so today I'm not, for a change, every other day I am.
Cheating!
Then you don't have to stop at the bathroom and you can just run 5 times around. If you're a zebra, you have to enter every single toilet. So those wearing zebra heads and those that are wearing Para the zebra avatar. Okay, so on your marks, get set, go, 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 let's go. And you have to go into every toilet if you're a zebra. Zebras, you have to stop at the toilet.
Okay. I don't see the ball. I'm back at the main thing. You mean the disco ball?
Okay. Yes, the disco ball.
The disco ball that has Litty and Lisbeth on it?
Yes, that one. Yes.
I have to delete it?
Yes,
Why am I-
delete it.
Oh, wait.
I'll put it.
Okay, I deleted it.
Say again.
Katya?
I'm saying, like,
Thank you.
if
Say again,
everyone is
Katya.
faster than me, I'm still trying to understand how can I run faster.
So now you know how it feels to have EDS.
Well,
Katya.
are you a zebra? Because
I'm not a
if you
zebra.
go
though.
into the toilet, you'll notice. Oh, okay.
I think you need
If you go into the bathrooms, which you have to do along the way, you will notice that you freeze for 10 seconds. And after you come out the bathroom, you can't walk very fast anymore.
you run if you press
Oh, I
tab.
see.
You walk slowly for another 40 seconds or so.
That's such an interesting
So
initiative.
keep going. Yeah.
Katya, you run if you press tab as you go
Keep
forward.
going around.
It's like a video game.
Sorry?
Now,
Matt?
if you press shift
You
and
press shift as you go forward.
shift and W at the same time,
Then you run.
Oh, I'm
yes,
on.
will make you go faster. If you're on your phone, just hold it forward and you'll run faster. But
Okay.
if you've overtaken me, don't worry, because I stopped at the bathroom here.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be a zebra
So
today.
accurate.
I'm so used to it.
Oh, I see. You're slow. That's why I
Okay,
see,
5 times around the track. Let's keep going, guys.
I'm lost.
5
I don't
times
know which
around the track.
direction I am.
And how do I stop dancing? You guys did that.
You stop dancing by clapping. If you press C,
You press C. You
if
stop
you
dancing.
press C, you will stop dancing.
Oh, so if you're on your PC, you just press C to stop, or if you're on your phone, there's a plate to make you stop at the beginning, but you can still participate even if you're dancing. I think you're not a zebra today, so you will overtake a lot of us.
I'm running and dancing.
Multitasking.
You don't have exercise intolerance. You're doing well.
Yeah, you're doing super well. Oh, look,
She
I'm
looks like
freezing.
a Michael Jackson.
Has
Oh,
anyone
funny.
completed all 5 laps yet?
I don't know.
How do
Oh,
they have to count? Because I didn't. I was just running.
Yeah.
No, you just count your own. Just count
Okay.
your own, yeah.
I'm still on the
Oh,
first
no.
one because I had to go delete the ball. And I went to the bathroom like 3
Yes,
times.
Connie, you're stuck because you're in the toilet
Yeah.
for 10 seconds, and then afterwards you'll be very slow.
yeah, very, very slow.
Not fun.
Fabricants, if you can refrain from that, please. It's not part of the program. Thank you. It's very pretty, but not part of the program.
What is it?
Oh, the emoji.
The emoji.
So the purpose of the game, let's get feedback.
Okay.
For those who were zebras,
All right.
how did you feel?
It's unfair.
Trying to complete this race, how did you feel?
It's very frustrated because I kept being slowed down every time I entered the toilet.
Connie still hasn't finished
Yes.
lap 2.
Connie, keep going, Connie. Thorim says he's feeling better. He's feeling better. The purpose of this was to illustrate what it feels like for people on an everyday basis trying to do tasks that have EDS, right? And if they have gut difficulties or other IBS, SIBO, all those different things, of how difficult it may be just to perform a simple task, and that people may not take it into consideration, that, you know, you have to think before you go out, where are the bathrooms? You have to plan for frequent stops, whatever it may be. So this was just more to give people an understanding of what it feels like to be a zebra. And does anyone want to comment on that, on their experience?
For me, it felt like a lot like real life, you know, because like even when I'm working, I cannot just sit and work for like a long time. I have to go to the bathroom, and also because I'm ADHD, like whenever I go to the bathroom, I come back, I forget what I was doing, so I have to kind of get back in the mood. And this is like really like, even if I'm going, for example, I'm going outside, I'm going for a hike or something like this, it's also something that I need to take into account, and I have to, like, you know, find ways that I can use the bathroom. So this is really a fun way to experience how it is in real life, and in a way also like for us, we will never maybe be able to run as fast as someone who doesn't have these challenges. So we need to kind of go on our own pace, and not like be obsessed of like wanting to win the race, rather than go on our own pace and like do our own thing, because this is reality, you know.
I think, Connie, you're busy demonstrating it well. Connie's in the last bathroom, and she hasn't finished her race yet. But it's really not about. It's really not about winning, though. Like you guys said, it's more about how can we find a way to get through every day and do the basics. You know, just, which might be easy for other people, but just getting through the day every day is already a win, right?
Exactly.
So that's the point of this. So there goes Connie on another lap. Keep going, Connie. Keep going. It's about finishing in the end.
Amazing. Connie saying
Okay.
this is funny.
So,
yeah. She's
yeah,
awesome.
so maybe, yes, Connie's a perseverer. Maybe you can play that song that you wrote about the zebras, and now people might have a better understanding of it. You can play it here if you want to.
Yes.
And I'll just put the stuff here, or you can move us back to the front, whatever you prefer.
I can wait. We can wait for Connie.
The zebra.
We can wait for Connie and dance here, and
yeah,
cheer
we
her,
wait for Connie.
Yeah.
and we cheer her.
Yes.
We cheer her
We
up.
wait
and
for
when
Connie and we dance here.
And we cheer her up. And
I
once
agree.
she's done,
Go, Connie.
and when she's done, we go back. So I'll play it now, and we wait for her.
Okay.
Let me check. Share screen. Huh? Oh, I'm already sharing this one. I see. Sharing. No. Okay, stop sharing. This one. Okay. And I will share the lyrics in the chat, so you guys can read the lyrics and also feel the vibe, you know?
Yes. Yes, please.
Skin is fragile, skin is see-through. You can see my veins, blue like the ocean haze. My wounds are slow at healing. My body is aching, longing to disappear. They tell me it's in my head, that I am crazy. I know it is not true, the doctors are hazy. They think they hear a horse, but I'm a zebra in a Zebra, zebra, zebra in a herd of horses. Science do not care, 'cause money isn't there. But our bodies are breaking. We bend and we break every day, waiting for a flicker of hope. When are you gonna realize it's not in our heads, it's in ourselves? Before you judge us, check you have what it takes to understand our pain, to see our stripes. They tell me it's in my head that I am crazy. I know it is not true. The doctors are hazy. They think they hear a horse, but I'm a zebra in a herd of horses. Zebra, zebra, 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 zebra in a herd of horses. Science do not care, 'cause money isn't there. But our bodies are breaking. We bend and we break every day, waiting for a flicker of hope. When are you going to realize it's not in our heads, it's in ourselves? Before you judge us, check you have what it takes to understand our pain, to see our stripes. They tell me it's in my head that I am crazy. I know it is not true. The doctors are hazy. They think they hear a horse, but I'm a zebra in a herd of horses. Zebra, zebra, zebra in a herd of horses. They tell me it's in my head that I am crazy. I know it is not true. The doctors are hazy. They think they hear a horse, but I'm a zebra in a herd of horses. Zebra, zebra, zebra in a herd of horses. Zebra, zebra, zebra in a herd of horses. Zebra, zebra, zebra in a herd of horses.
All right, that was it. Thank you guys so much. I will play the song one more time, but before I play it, if you guys want to say anything, feel free to just unmute and tell me what you think of the song, tell me what you think of the event. you guys had a good time?
From my side, I want to say thank you so much. Like every week that you guys do stuff, I learn. And I love preparing the games because then I have to really look into it in depth, which helps me significantly as well. So thank you for letting me help out. And if anyone has questions and they don't want to share it here or you don't want to unmute, feel free to type it to one of us and I'll get it to Ines and Maya. It can be anonymous and they can answer it in the next session perhaps, so that everyone's questions do get addressed if you don't want to ask in front of the group, because I understand some people prefer not to speak in front of the group, which is totally okay. So
yeah, perfect.
That's just a thank you from me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was very educational, and I appreciate this information because, like I said, I run across people who are dealing with different issues, and I don't understand what they're dealing with. So each time you all do a presentation, I gain a little more knowledge to be a bit more helpful in my coaching practice. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Meta Coach, for your feedback.
Thank you so much, Coach. You're one of our now core audience. We love that you're always here, you're engaging with us, and you have like also an amazing message that overlaps with our message, so we're super happy to have you here.
Definitely.
Thank you. I want to also thank Katya and Maria. I think Katya already left, but she wrote me a message that she had a great time, and she thanks you everyone as well for being here. I don't know, Maria, you're still here maybe. I don't know if you want to say anything, but I just want to thank you for coming. I hope the metaverse experience was
interesting for you,
interesting and fun for you, and that maybe you will come back.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm still here. I couldn't leave. You guys making this very entertaining. Thank you, first of all, for giving us the possibility to present our work and let people learn a little bit more about the microbiome. I'm also learning a lot about the symptoms of people struggling with EDS. I think this was a great way to let us understand what does it mean in real life, although it's a game dealing with these pains. So I see a lot of potential there in the space of the microbiome EDS, and I'm really looking forward to find a way to start studies to better understand. As you guys say in the lyrics of the song, unfortunately, probably science doesn't really care about it because it's such a not even rare condition, but maybe not much money to make there.
Exactly, because
and that's very sad. So
exactly, it's very sad, but
exactly.
Hopefully we can do something about it.
That's why we believe in the DAO,
yes,
in the microbiome DAO, in the decentralized science. So we're hopeful that we will find somebody to listen to us and help us, and we're very happy to contribute to a microbiome and be part of it in the future, because we see a great potential for the future.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's do that. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Lisbeth. We were actually, it's funny because Lisbeth is writing to me like, okay, like we're gonna do a game, and what do you want it to be about? I'm not saying, okay, I want the game to be about like the EDS and the microbiome issues link. And then we're like, okay, what are the symptoms? And it's like diarrhea, it's constipation. We're like, we cannot do a lot of games without crossing some line. And then I'm like, Elizabeth, maybe we do some like race where there's bathrooms and people have to go there and stuff like this. And we were just laughing like, wow, that's amazing.
I was willing to cross the line, just saying. I would have crossed the line.
Yes,
it is what it is, guys.
Saying, let's do some like diarrhea aura or something. And I was like, I don't know.
There's a lot one can do with auras. I would have done it, but yes, we found a way to present it eloquently.
Maybe slowly. Maybe in the future we do something different.
Maybe next time. But it was like just brainstorming together and trying to like think of a way that we can like demonstrate this. I think this race also that you put in the time to create the toilets and the rest. Like, you know, I know it's not easy. It looks easy for
You're
people
welcome.
coming in, going to the bathroom and like freezing for 10 seconds, but you know, it takes a lot of effort and time to you know, create this experience. So we thank you, of course, Elizabeth, for doing that. And for the Japanese translation, I hope the Japanese community enjoyed this event as well. We're really thankful for all your support, Elizabeth. So
Yeah, and thank you for everybody who came.
You're
and
welcome. You're welcome.
And shared the event with us today. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you.
oh, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Ah, nice, some jazz. Yes. Yeah, so I also want to thank everybody who engaged, everybody who came here, and everybody who writes me messages. Sometimes after the event, people write me private messages about how they felt, about how the event went, and what it meant for them, and that's always well received. Please keep doing that. That's amazing. Super happy to hear from everyone. And yeah, the more we do this, the more we create this sense of community and we work together. Hopefully the more we bring awareness and we can move this forward and we can help people, so that you know, we will keep doing this. So keep supporting us, keep coming, and hopefully we grow together. Thank you so much for everyone who's ever come to any event and for continuing to show support for us. Elizabeth is saying the more we work together, the more we bring awareness and we can move forward and help people. Exactly, exactly.
That's our goal. And let's celebrate for to.
I was just typing what you said.
Sorry?
So that they can translate it. If I was just typing what Ines
Yeah.
said, because if you right click on it,
So we're
language.
going in circles, you know.
But I'm sure you also think the same, right? So it's okay.
Oh yes, I totally agree. I do definitely agree. And I think, like, I know we've got a lot of neurodivergence in spatial, so I think that would be a really nice topic maybe to collaborate on in future. So let's think of that. I'd be willing to contribute, like, knowledge-wise, not only, I mean, that was my field, right, as an SLP, so not
Nice.
only as game-wise. So I think maybe we could do like a whole month on that maybe, or something like that. But yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
That's a very good
That's
idea,
also-
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. Let's talk about that maybe for next time.
Yeah, and